Twitch to check out the chat, you can. Just make sure you mute the audio.
I'll pull it up on my phone.
In case anyone, because I happen to have a grand total of 4 followers.
So, I count myself among that number.
No, then I have 5. This is only the feed that I have from using Streamlabs. Anyways, there's a non-zero chance people will hop in. If you want to participate in chat, go for it, but just mute the audio so we don't get terrible feedback.
Yeah, because I don't have Twitch. I think I don't have Twitch. I don't know if I've got Twitch.
Okay, well, now that I've been streaming this rambling mess for a minute, hi everyone, this is Carl. I go by Yogo Dunzo on the Discord forums. I'm joined by Jeremy, who goes by Huntsucker27.
Hello.
And Lewis, who goes by Sir Voltar.
Greetings, everyone of Rokugan land.
And today, in our now 5-month out-of-date series, we're doing a Pack 2 review of the Dominion cycle. All of this is just ostensibly to get practice to do the pack reviews as they come up live. But we'll be talking about the cards in Spreading Shadows, impressions when they were first released, and then how they wound up shaking out since we're now at the end of the cycle. Some cards have gotten significantly better, others were kind of a flash in the pan and played because there was nothing better. So we're going to start off with Obsidian Talisman. It is a 0-cost crab attachment. It gives you +1 military, +0 political. It is void roll locked, and as an action, you can lose 1 honor and discard a status token from the attached character, and that is an unlimited action. You can do it as many times as you want.
I know we're just starting out, but I think you've said all there is to say about this card.
So yeah, I'm like, if there was ever a card to have the Shadowlands trait, I really like this one because it is like unplayable and it's pointless and it's worthless, and just like the Shadowlands, it needs to die in a fire.
So I've actually seen this card play to surprising effect.
It would be surprising.
It is not terrible out of crab because of a card we'll see here in a second, Shinsei's Last Hope. It can fix that. Also, it's seen some use in Scorpion, running out of KB. I've seen Aromoro murder someone and then throw it on there and be okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. It just toss the token.
Now, in all honesty and fairness, the only person I've seen run this is Pugin. And he's a fucking madman. And he's the only one that can play his deck successfully. So, it's a card that was probably rightly written off when it was first spoiled. But some people are able to use it successfully.
I mean, the 2 clans that you suggest, like, it could be used in Crab and Scorpion, are 2 of the clans that, that honor loss, they're already, treading the line as far as that's concerned. I mean, you mentioned, the one guy that's been able to play with that and have it be useful. I mean,
he is like a madman of L5R. He makes jank decks that actually work, so I'm a little envious. But there's really not a whole lot to go on about this card. It's got some niche uses. I think if there's more dishonor token effects, alternatively, if you wanted to, you could throw it on someone else's character to get rid of honored status tokens.
True, there's no restriction.
Yeah.
Crane, you thought that person would be honored?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw all of my honor at you just to take off all those honor tokens you can infinitely give your guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, is that they can basically infinitely give themselves honor tokens. So,
I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
no,
I mean,
go
I
on.
could see it being timely with like their stands, honor stands, and stuff like that, maybe. But then, yeah, they're just going to play something and honor it again.
Yeah.
So.
The next card, though, is much more generally playable. It is Butcher of the Fallen. 4 fate,
Generally playable.
6 mil, Dash Paul, Bushi Berserker. Its important text, that is now errata, is while this character is attacking, characters with less military skill from the number of unbroken provinces you control cannot be declared as defenders, and it's got the rally keyword. Real quick, he was much more busted when he came out because his restriction was the character's printed military skill if it was less than or equal. So very few clans could actually interact with him early on.
I mean, it's like we were talking about last week in regards to like rally strength on a character, and this guy never needed rally. Like he would have been fine. It's just the icing on top that just made it. I mean, now Crab have enough good cards. They're not always going to run this, but when it first came out, obviously it was everywhere because it was early in the cycle and it was rally.
Which is horrifying because, like, how does this 4 fate cost character compare to a unicorn 4 fate cost character like Aggressive Moto?
See, now we're just gonna if we compare things to unicorn cards, we're just gonna make people mad.
Especially core unicorn cards?
Yes. But yeah, I mean, even the 4-drop we got last week, like the unicorn 4-drop army, it's just no comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, Butcher's sick. I mean, the ability to combo off of, they've got a lot of stuff that can trigger off of if something is undefended. There's the built-in covert that Crab also has just to be able to say, oh yeah, that 1 or 2 guys that you were going to be able to defend with, yeah, they can't defend either. I mean, it just fits in really well with a lot of Crab's, just general scheme, and then give it rally on top of that. It's a freaking berserker, so he'll also pick up all that Tetsubo love.
Yeah,
I mean,
you weren't here last week, Lewis, but basically it turned into a repeated saying of rally was printed on cards that were good enough already. And the Butcher is, I think, a good example of that. It's another good example of rally being on a card it didn't need to be on.
I'm looking for like drawbacks, right? Like it has dash poll when like policy debate was still on the table. It has relevant traits. It has 0 glory. Like, yeah,
I mean, so because of the text on the card, the dash poll is a drawback.
Well, now, yeah.
Because if it had a 0 in there, its text would still apply on a political attack.
That's true.
Hey, we're gonna go talk, and unless you're big and strong enough, you can't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the crab way.
That is the Crab way. So yeah, I'm glad that he has got a dash.
Yeah, but no, there is no downside to him, and then they threw rally on top of it, and so.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that the idea that Crab have got enough good cards that they don't have to run him. I'm trying to think of a Crab deck that doesn't run this guy.
So I've seen, because I've been streaming and watching a bunch of the Clan Wars games, I've seen a number of games where the Butcher doesn't get bought. He's in almost every deck, but there are a number of situations where he doesn't get bought. I don't understand why. But I also I haven't played like competitive L5R in a long time, and I was an okay Crab player at best. So I may not have the wrinkles in my brain required to understand why you wouldn't just buy him all the time.
I mean, God,
and I think
I guess that's kind of the thing with us being the tier that we are. I mean, this is not the Jade Throne people.
Well, no, but also like I think his errata brings him down significantly in power, so he is going to be even more of a situational buy now.
Yeah, I mean,
because if you throw a fine katana on a dude, now they can stand in front of him. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeremy.
No, you're right. No, it's one of those things, like, if it's just being used for its rally effect and it's not being bought 90%, 70, 80, 90% of the time, there are better rally cards that you could throw in. I think losing the equal to and also I think that just kind of really, it just makes it where they don't need to play it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll always show up as a 1 or 2 of.
Yeah.
Because he has rally, so there's no cost to include him. And if he flips to the point where he's useful, he'll get bought, and if he isn't useful, he won't, and they'll still get another card off of it. This is now Crab's Eminent Holding. It is a 3 province strength, Earth and Water, Shinsei's Last Hope. It's got the Eminent boilerplate. Its keyword is largely irrelevant. Each character played in this province costs 2 less to play and enters play dishonored. You guys can't see this, but Lewis is shaking his head aggressively.
It's so good. I mean, when Kravitz was the thing that Crab had, and then, okay, let's make their stuff cheaper. Oh no, their guy is dishonored. They're all their low glory people.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of the same as last time. Like, we were also talking about Eminence and, like, specific provinces that are complete trash, and then you have maybe like 3 or 4 that are actually playable. This is one of the playable ones.
Yeah, I think this can strengthen Crab's economy a good bit, because all of a sudden their Caillou Envoys, Gaunt Quartermasters, Vanguard Warriors, Pious Guardians, all those suddenly become free. And 2 of those cards generate money when they die.
I mean, and I bashed my head against Mind's Desires. He's got like a Crab control deck that just it's all about resource generation, and it's just sick. And he's running Shinsei's Last Hope, and I mean, and he's gaining cards and fate off of anybody leaving the board because he's he's got his the Crab Courtier gives everybody sincerity and courtesy.
Yep. The one
broker, Yasuki Broker.
Yeah, Yasuki Broker. Thank you.
Yeah, I think if you were going to run Shinsei's Last Hope, you kind of have to also run Pious Guardian. Just to help fix your sins a little bit. The good news is Pious Guardian has rally, so there's no reason not to run him.
Yeah. Hey, look, there's another one of those great cards that didn't need rally.
But yeah, no, I think Jeremy's right that there's a small number of playable Eminent provinces, and this happens to be one of them. I think last week we saw Ninkatoshi and Kakudaira, the Phoenix and Lionel. Yeah, and City of the Rich Frog. Those 2 are not super playable. City is okay now, but
yeah.
So yeah, this is a solid-ish province. Good. The elements aren't terrible. You'd probably run it as your water province. Nothing super complicated.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you have anything that reduces the cost as the card pool gets bigger and better, it's just going to be more and more play. It'll always be considered.
Cost reduction is a big thing, as we've learned through Stoke Insurrection. Those who serve, like, reducing costs is a very potent ability.
Or one out for a real one.
Shinsei's Last Hope will drop it to nothing. I mean,
yeah.
There's a huge difference of being able to, drop it to 1 or drop it to free. And those who serve is now unplayable after they did the errata to drop it to 1.
I don't think it's unplayable.
It did my card dirty.
I think those who serve became fair, and fair cards don't have a place in this game.
Amen.
On to cards that feel unfair. is Cunning Negotiator. It's a 4 fate cost, 1/5 Courtier Duelist with 2 Glory out of Crane. Those are very relevant keywords. Its action is during the conflict, initiate a political duel against a character your opponent controls of their choice. Resolve the duel. The controller of the duel's winner may trigger the attacked province's action ability as if they control the province, even if it has already been triggered this round or specified period. And it also has Rally. I think this card's good. Even if its ability will never actually trigger a province, I think it can easily turn into a 3/7 character out of Kyuden Kakita. And it has Rally.
I mean, if we had a whole set of equivalents like this, if you'd given me like 4 drops with Rally for every clan, relevant traits, good glory for the clan, and then a Rally, and then an ability that may go off sometimes, like, that seems to be the appropriate power level. But like this thing, same thing. Relevant traits, good glory, decent stats, and an ability that when it does go off, like, it can be helpful.
Yep.
But he did it. Still Rally.
The annoying thing that I find is that you can still trigger its duel even if the province doesn't have a relevant ability.
Really?
To be triggered.
Yep.
So if you hit like Midnight Revels with him, you can still use his duel to initiate because it says the controller of the duel's winner may trigger the attack province. So they don't have to trigger it in order for it to be a valid duel. So this is also a free duel that Crane can throw out there to just honor themselves out of Kyuden Kakita.
Draw cards with Proving Ground.
Yeah.
Add honor tokens to their dueling dojo.
Yeah, I've seen people do that recently. It doesn't seem to work out well for them. Yeah, I've seen people trying the Distinguished Dojo deck, and it just doesn't seem to be firing yet. But there will probably be cards that enable that coming. Because that feels like a design space that they're going to accidentally make toxic. Next up is Highlight the Flaws. It's a 1 fate Crane event. It is fire locked. When the effect of a province's triggered ability would initiate, cancel those effects. So it's a one-shot surprise. Pathfinder's Blade you pay 1 fate for.
I mean, first thing I think of, just jank-wise, this is probably has no relevance, but the fact that it says a province and not your opponent's province is kind of interesting. Like if there was ever something that was like detrimental.
Well, that actually is a pertinent thing to bring up with a card that came out later. I think pack 5, Contested Countryside.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You can stop that. You can stop your own provinces from biting you in the butt.
Interesting.
But that got put on the RL, so that's turned into much more of an edge case than it used to be. It's also 2 influence cost. I don't really expect to see this that often, which means when you do see it, it's going to absolutely bite you in the ass. Mostly because it's fire locked, and most clans don't seem to be splashing Crane and going for a fire roll.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of good combo fire Crane. And when it comes to, how are you going to deal with province abilities?
I find just running Roughshod right over them to be the best strategy. It's like, yeah, fine, I hit Shameful. I hope I had a plan for it.
Just take the blow.
Yeah. Onto a card you will see a whole bunch of.
Oh yeah.
Is Daidoji Marketplace. It is a +1 province strength holding. As a reaction, after the conflict phase begins, reveal this holding's province. And it has a Rally keyword. This is showing up alongside Doji Diplomat, just to get your provinces turned up that much faster. I don't think. I mean, it's got rally, so you can see 3 of it in a deck, and who gives a shit if it actually does anything or not? Because there's no cost. There's no cost to including it.
Yeah, it's free province strength with, a flip up. Cool.
Yeah, it's good. I think the Doji Diplomat is what makes the deck really fire. This is just a nice, like, side bonus card, I guess.
So here's kind of a side tangent. Out of the combo cards that Crane run right now, to make that happen, which one do you think is more than likely to be the one to get like an RL?
No, the entire combo is actually fine. It's Magistrate Station is the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if you take Magistrate Station out, I don't care that you get a free honored guy every turn, or you get a guy honored for free every turn. I don't care if you have Civ Divish Frog. I don't care if it honored people stick around another turn. Like, all of that doesn't, like, directly advance your win condition. It's just things that tie together real well. But I don't think any of those abilities are, like, a problem in and of themselves. It's just, like, flipping up Magistrate Station on the box, like, turn 2, when you are nowhere near breaking the box.
Right.
That's when having an honored guy for free, honored people sticking around, all that becomes a problem.
Yeah. People coming into play honored, all that
stuff. That's when it's a problem. So, unsurprisingly, a card from Cycles 1 and 2 are a problem for every game. Who knew?
I think rotation is a good idea.
I think it is. We just have to wait another year?
Yearish, yeah.
Yearish, yeah.
And that means something when it's coming from me as a unicorn, being like, please make Cycles 1 and 2. I won't have a stronghold, but it's probably healthy for the game.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I'm kind of surprised the Daidoji Marketplace would have that kind of love. Only because the Crane deck that you're talking about, as far as I know, I was under the impression is playing with the 2 eminent provinces. So you've only got 2 provinces that the Daidoji Marketplace needs to land on in order for it to trigger. And then when you also have the diplomat, it's it seems like I don't know. It seems like that it's overkill. And I know that the 2 Crane decks I lost against in the Crane War, neither of them were running it.
It would be overkill if they didn't have rally. And so I think, like, as a 2-of in a deck, it's fine. Because you don't lose any tempo for flipping it. And the more provinces that you have face up, the more likely they are to have to pick your stronghold when you do get a Doji Diplomat.
Yeah, I mean, what's the downside, right? This thing flips up on Suma, and Suma just got a little bit more defensible while also...
It got a dude.
Got another card.
Rally.
And then Uji showed up under. Oh, cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, so that deck's also running Wealth of the Crane.
Yeah,
and so, it goes back to the more they can flip up their provinces, the better it turns out.
It feels like there's enough moving pieces to where even if it's missing like 1 or 2, it's still doing something.
Yeah.
Which is, sign of good synergy. So.
Like, Lewis is right. Not every deck is going to run it, but if you're looking for consistencies and flip-ups, this is 2 more cards that can flip up provinces for you. So it's a nice side benefit card. Here we come to the infamous Dragon card. It is a 3 fate, 2 military, 3 political, 2 glory monk. Its interrupt is when this character leaves play, choose an unbroken province you control, turn that province face down. it is the traveling philosopher, and it turns out the duck is the philosopher.
That was established very early on.
Yes, because people looked at that and went, "Wow, this ability is so bad." The goose has to be the one that does it.
But a 2-mil-3 political goose.
Dude,
that's actually impressive.
Geese are motherfuckers. Yeah. Them and swans, they are vicious fucking animals. If one is running at you, it's in your best interest to not be in its way.
I feel so bad for Dragon. Like,
yeah.
We're gonna say that every single pack review.
Yeah, basically. I don't think they got a single good card. Actually, hang on. We're gonna take a quick deviation. we're gonna find out if Dragon got any good cards this cycle.
I like their rally. Their the Cycle of Rebirth.
It's not rally though. It's fake rally. It's fake rally.
It's fake rally because you shuffle it back in.
Mantra of Void?
I guess.
Kind of playable.
Reduce the cost of play attachments by 1. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
This makes me feel better being purple, but just
yeah. I mean, Dragon really got the shaft. Like, the art for Sumiko is great.
Oh yeah.
But
they have such good art. Their abilities aren't good, but it's so pretty.
So the tragic thing, the ability on this card was clearly designed when charge was legal.
Yeah. Because
her being charged lets you have more control over when all this fires. But yeah, that's a sad pants thing. I feel bad for Dragon. Crap. Okay, so the goose is terrible. It turned into a meme on the main Discord server. If you type in honk, a picture of a goose shows up because of this card. I guess in fairness to the card, it plays into Dragon's half-assed we care about face-down provinces.
Such a half-baked theme.
But it's just
sprinkled through 5 cycles, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if only they would have made it not when the Traveling Philosopher is leaving play, but when they come into play.
Right.
If you could have it when they came into play, that it flips it face down, then it's worthwhile to fade them up. They're a monk, so they can do all the keyhoes. I mean, there's all sorts of good stuff that could have come out of that. But the fact that it's when they leave, it's like...
So this is an inherent flaw in the way these cards were designed, right? If you look at Crane's, hey, we care about face-up card or face-up provinces, those cards will get inherently stronger the longer the game goes on, right? Because it's a natural course of the game for provinces to get revealed.
Yeah.
Face-down provinces will get inherently weaker because you can't turn broken provinces face down. And, it's the exact inverse. The natural course of the game is to not have face-down provinces. I will say, if you want to be stupid and build your province row with on-reveal effects, if you can find a way to eject this character to your discard pile in the middle of a conflict, you can't pick the province that's currently being attacked. It'll turn it face down, and then it'll immediately turn face up again. But because it turned face down, it left play, and so it's a brand new instance, and you can resolve the ability again. That's a lot of work for not a lot of effect.
Yeah, I was trying to count the hoops while you were talking. I think I got up to 4.
Yeah. No,
I was gonna say, I think that I do think that was almost the intent of the Dragon face down, have strong reveal effects, and then flip it face down again, and then whip it. Oh look, it's coming up again. But yeah,
if that's
the hoops you have to go through, it's just too much.
It's just they don't do anything, and we'll see some cards later in the cycle that care about face down provinces. and they're bad too. So we're just gonna move on to another bad card.
Let's go to another bad card.
Mountaintop Vigil, Void Roll Dragon event. It's void locked. 1 fate cost. During a conflict, cancel all ring effects until the end of the conflict. Does anyone run cards on the hope that they lose a conflict?
Lion? Our stronghold? Embrace death?
Okay, so if a stronghold gets run to deny conflicts, right? And clear the way for future conflicts. Embrace death, I have not seen played.
Well, hey, you just asked are there people. Well, you asked to do clans run cards. So
yes. Yes.
Good call. This is a good point. Good point.
Personally, I think it's best not to run cards with the intent of losing conflicts. So moving on to Chronicler of Conquest. I mean, it doesn't do anything. Like, it's like, okay, I'm going to run this card, and I plan on losing this conflict.
I mean, I'm thinking of, for the Lion Honor Runner, I mean, if you're really worried about, the Lion deck, triggering the air ring, 3 times in a single conflict, you play that right at the, they're attacking military air and they got Toturi there. Oh, crap. Drop that right at the beginning and okay, cool. I've saved it. But nobody's really
like, you know,
that.
So to plan for that very small sliver of a possible,
you're gonna splash dragon. You're gonna play void roll.
Void roll, and they have put this in their deck.
Yeah.
No.
It was a good plan. I just said it was a plan.
In general, the best plan is to not plan to lose, and then work from there.
Yeah. No, I agree. We can move on.
So
we can move on to my boy.
Yep. Actually, I just realized I can. Oh no, I can't zoom in these card images. Oh no, I can't. But maybe make these a little bit more legible for anyone who happens to be watching or watching in the future. Okay. We have Chronicler of Conquests. 1 fate, 0 mill, 2 Paul, Courtier, 1 glory, and Lion. During a conflict in which this character is participating, if there's a battlefield in play, gain 1 honor. I'll just let Lewis gush.
Yeah, just
Oh my god, I love this man. Oh, he's so good. I mean, and it's like, I mean, obviously, I've been trying to play Lion Honor since day 1 of this game, of this card game coming out. And, and when Akoma Prodigy was originally, one of my, oh, yes, Auto Honor, yes. And then this guy came out and it was like, oh, repeatable Auto Honor. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love the Chronicler of Conquest. And I mean, legitimately, I would say that the Lion Honor deck archetype almost, I mean, we had some of the tools. This guy is the one that gave it consistency. This is the guy that, I mean, when you're deciding between who am I going to Spirit Caller, Akodo Toturi, or a Chronicler of Conquest, you go for the Chronicler because it's the one that's going to actually win you the game.
So, do you find yourself relying on his trait at all, or is it just his trait might as well be blank?
Are you talking about for the Courtier?
Yeah.
For me, it's been blank. I've been playing, like, right now, like, I actually do have, like, a quasi Lion Courtier Honor Run version that is more off of, like, Ikehata and lower level Lion People for Honor games, higher on the political side, and, with, not running Toturi, not running Master Tactician, just because of my fear of Stoke. And, for the one, and I mean, like I said, I'm messing around with it. I'm not sold on it. But that particular deck would run with, like, Forshane.
Sure.
I will say from maybe Regal Bearing to trigger off of Divine Ancestry if I can get that card combo off. But
I will say from experience, Stoke Insurrection is pretty fucking terrible against Swarm decks.
Oh yeah, it's like, hey, you want to take 2 of my guys? Enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy also, my 2. You paid 4. Enjoy my 2 little guys.
Yeah. Do you find I guess he is more consistent than the hero of the three trees. Because I often...
It's so much easier to have a battlefield in play than it is to make sure that my hand's lower.
Okay. Onto a card that kind of... it ties into the battlefield thing. And it's a card that Yama used against me in her crab matchup to great effect, and it made me fucking sad. Is Logistics. 0 fate cost line event, 1 influence cost, action, choose a card in or attached to a province, move that card to another unbroken non-stronghold province controlled by the same player. If there's a battlefield in play, draw a card. So this is basically, I assume primarily it's there for a card draw, making your conflict deck essentially 37 cards. Instead of the 40, so it's rally for your conflict deck as long as you have a battlefield in play, which is too difficult. And the side bonus that sometimes it saves a card you care about. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, that pretty much that says a lot about it. I have used it to I played a prepared ambush with the hopes of being able, I'm holding on to the prepared ambush so I can get the passing fate. I play it on my first defense, bring out a guy to defend with it, and then they swing at another province. I can logistic the prepared ambush over to the new province and then buy somebody out of there with the logistics replacing itself. I've used logistics with Zentaro on attack. Hey, that was a nice holding over there. Move it over to this one so Zentaro, so Spider-Man can steal it. The actual card ability beyond just drawing a card has come into effect. But honestly, it's gravy because your initial assessment of it's to make my conflict deck 37 is pretty square on.
Right. You got anything, Jeremy? Or is this just a line card you're envious of as a unicorn player?
Oh, yeah. This whole cycle is me having lion envy. But I tried to... when Pack 2 came out, I tried logistics with Unicorn and Wind's Path when I still had hope for Imminence. I was like, maybe Wind's Path. I'll move stuff over there. Surprise! I can play it. No, there's nothing. There's nothing.
See, for it. I thought logistics would work out really well with Unicorn because you guys have the Shiatomi encampment, which is a battlefield. And you can also, in heck, War Camp.
Yeah.
The War Camp in your Swarm deck, I thought would be +2 military for a battlefield. That's pretty.
Oh
nice.
Yeah, War Camp's in the Swarm deck for sure, but it's just like trying to. It's like I just can't consistently come up with quite as many battlefields as you can. Like moving it around, and it's costing me influence to do it. Like luckily,
it's only one.
Yeah, it's no event.
I was gonna say one. I'm thinking one influence for the logistics to drop you to a 37 deck. You've got the Shiatomi encampments, and heck, now you've got the courtyard, contested courtyard. That's also a battlefield. So you've got your 6 dynasty, and then heck, you can run Field of Ruin. And honestly, Field of Ruin, I think, should be seeing a lot more play now, just because of all of the just nasty holdings. One of the things I've been thinking about is the fact that, a lot of people talk about attachment hate. What attachment hate are you running? You need to have attachment hate. I'm going to be, daring and not run attachment hate. I honestly think that holding hate needs to be something that's considered in deck building now.
Well,
what are you going to do to stop, the big nasty holdings, the big nasty stuff that people are keeping in their dynasty?
Yeah.
Well, you missed it last week. They printed the perfect card for that. It's a Seasonal War.
That's what I'm saying, though. Are you running a season? Are you running?
Yes, you are, because it's rally.
Do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm just.
So that makes your dynasty deck 37 cards. So if you run logistics for a 37 card conflict deck, yeah, you run Seasonal War for a 37 card dynasty deck because it has rally.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, so the ability to get the battlefield, the ability to move stuff over. I don't know, just it looks good to me.
Great. Next up is Spectral Visitations. 4 province strength. It's got the spirit trait for how little that matters. It is Earth roll. After this province is revealed, discard the top 4 cards of your Dynasty deck, choose a character in your Dynasty discard pile, put that character into play. If it's in play at the end of the phase, put it on the bottom of your Dynasty deck.
Good.
Seems like a good thing.
It really is. Other than the whole contested countryside allowing your opponent to also get a free dude, really good.
So I made a line deck and put this on the box, and was super sad when my opponent flipped it face up with a Doji Diplomat in the fate in the Dynasty phase, and I was like, cool, I get a free character. Pitched 4 cards, picked my favorite one, and then I read the card.
And then realized it's at the end of the phase, of the Dynasty phase. It just went back to the bottom.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that is sad.
Yeah, that made me sad.
That is a sad panda. I would not run Spectral on the box.
I mean, it doesn't.
On the box. I've been running it on the row, but that's the other reason why a lot of the cranes, like that Crane Diplomat, is degenerate.
Only because it's free.
Oh, is that the only reason? Is it not because it's also not a 0/0? It has stats.
Yeah, it is 0.
So one political's fucking irrelevant.
But on a free body.
I mean, that's like it should have cost 1.
I mean, and it's not like the opposite recruit or the Ashigaru Levy. I mean, the Ashigaru Levy is also free and has a valid stat. And he fetches friends.
Yeah. But no, Spectral Visitations is a solid thing. I mean, there's not a lot to say. It's a free Spirit Caller that populates itself.
The populating itself is also one of the bigger things. Because, I mean, if somebody flipped that on the first turn, and if it didn't discard the top 4 cards, it would be...
it'd be fucking terrible.
Discarding the top 4 cards is really big on that being good.
This does a lot of work, because it also, dumps bodies into the discard pile for Spirit Caller Prodigy, and Forebear's Echoes. So.
Oh yeah, lots of good stuff. Very, and honestly, it being an Earth roll, filled a fairly empty spot in the Lions row. I mean, we were running, Upholding Authority, but maybe Ninkatoshi. I mean, if we're desperate. But I mean, that's what I'm saying is that for Earth, when this coming out as Earth, it's not like it's not vying for something that we would rather have.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think if you play Lion, you kind of have to buy this pack for even if you're not doing Honor Run, you need this pack for Logistics and Spectrals. Chronicler is archetype dependent, but next up is a neutral card, Disciple of Shinsei. 2 Fate for 2/2/0 Glory, Monk and Brotherhood. Interrupt: when this character leaves play, choose an attachment, discard it. So, you like a better statted Mia Mystic?
For the same cost?
For the same cost, you just don't get to pick when you use it.
I mean, it's Monk instead of
Shugenja, yeah. I think Scorpion leveraged this card the best because of Miyako.
Yeah.
So it literally was a better statted Mia Mystic for 1 attack, and then it turned into a Miyako and got rid of an attachment. So for Scorpion, it was a better Mia Mystic. I think for everyone else, it's a more situational Dynasty attachment hate card. I don't think there's a whole lot to really say about them.
There's a Crab. I've seen a Crab. Not even. I wouldn't even say it was janky, but a Crab Monk deck.
Yep, that's the thing.
That this worked great with to give them more, just to make sure they had enough monks out there doing their monkey stuff.
Well, because they also have Warden of the Damned, Kuni Purifier, and Kuni Silencer as in-faction monks. So, this does round out the playable monks that they have access to. So, moving on, because I mean it's a better stat at being Mystic that's more situational. I don't think there's. So next up is the Air Province, the neutral Air Province for the set, driven by Courage, 4 Province Strength. During a conflict at an Air Province, choose a participating character. That character gets +2 mil and +2 political until the end of the conflict. I think Jeremy and I said last week that this was a mostly successful province cycle, as opposed to the last one.
Yeah, I mean, there are things in here that are playable.
Well, I mean, if you look at the last one, the only one that saw play was Upholding Authority, maybe Appealing the Fortunes,
yeah.
and if you were Scorpion, Abandoning Honor. Most people don't even remember what the water one did. It was so terrible.
Oh my gosh, it was the you can eject your person after the province break so that way they don't bow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so dumb.
Yes.
I won. I remembered what that crappy province did.
Yeah, congratulations. That's also a reason not to run cards with the intent on losing, because that's the only time that card's useful. But this cycle, outside of Weight of Duty, I think these are much more successful, and all of them can see play.
Yeah, they're just more versatile because they can go off at an opponent's province as well.
Yeah.
Not, offense and defense. So
I also really like the fact that because we have these eminent provinces that can have multiple elements, that this style of province can get more use. I can run 2 straight air provinces, and I can run an eminent province that has air and something else, claim that it's the something else, and now at every air province, well, I've got 3 provinces that can be air.
Yep. This one it's good. I mean, it's basically Mountain's Anvil Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a just raw, efficient stronghold. Getting 4 stats is a good thing.
Yeah, it's just a shame that it's I can't think of, it's like, what deck runs this, and I mean it's almost like do you run this instead of?
Well, so it's competition.
What deck is running this instead of the others?
Its competition, by and large, is Manicured and Fertile Fields, and Frostbitten Crossing if you're an air roll.
Yeah, I mean, and most people that I know would rather. I mean, well, I guess the big issue is that are you defending at this province?
Well,
you can use that ability also on the attack.
Defending this, its text says it can be effectively a 6 province strength.
Yeah.
Instead of 4, it is because it can be used at other provinces. It punishes more passive air choices. Because if your opponent's running Manicured or Fertile Fields, if they run into this, they are at a 2 force deficit. So, like I said, this one, outside of Weight of Duty, that is almost by necessity pushed because it has to compete with Shameful and Pilgrimage. All of these other elemental provinces are reasonable. You can make cases for building around them and running them.
Yeah, I wonder if that, speaking on the Void Province stuff, I wonder if we're just going to have a snowball effect where you just have more and more and more Void Provinces that are just have to be playable. They have to be, otherwise there's no point, right? And then you have these other ones where it's just like, well, it's always been bad. Like water's always been bad, so we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry about it.
Here's the stupid dumb thing, right? and I don't know why this was changed in core, but Shameful Display was originally a fire province, and Meditations was originally a void province.
Interesting.
And gosh, that just makes more sense.
Doesn't it? Except, I think where that turned into an issue is it let people run both Shameful Display and Pilgrimage at the same time, right, without having to be Seeker, Avoid. But that does mean that we're in a position now where every Void province is going to get compared to Shameful Display and Pilgrimage. And if you really want to run Weighted Duty, you're probably going to run Seeker or Void, and then you're probably going to run Shameful or Pilgrimage alongside of it.
Yeah, just 3 of your 4.
Yeah, so you're just going to the Void provinces have to be basically toxic to be playable. Otherwise,
what an outrageous sentence to have to come out of your mouth. It's like they have to be toxic to be playable. It's true. Like, that's the thing. You're not wrong. It's just like.
Well, I mean, but then again, I'm curious. How much in this card design and how much are they looking at the? Eventually there's going to be a rotation out.
Yeah, but
eventually it rotates out. We want to, maybe what fills the void won't be as powerful, but will not be as degenerate and toxic.
In order for that to happen, when there's a rotation, they have to release a new core set.
Yeah.
Because Shameful and Pilgrimage are core, and therefore evergreen.
Yep.
It's the one. I mean, it's the same thing. Like when I talk about needing rotation, but at the same time, I'm going to lose HMT, and I have no replacement for HMT. Like without a new core that rotates in things and kind of settles the balance, it's going to be rocky.
Okay, let's get back on the pack discussion instead of the Magical Christmas Land, where we get a rotation and a new core set that is perfect in every way and not toxic in the least. Maybe this card, the Inspired Visionary, will show us the way through inspiration and vision. So 1 fate, 1/1. 1 military, 1 political, 1 glory, Shugenja Air. Reaction: after the fate phase begins, bow this character and choose an attachment. Shuffle that attachment into its owner's conflict deck. That player draws 1 card. I think this was an attempt to give Phoenix some reasonable in-clan attachment hate, because their Fire Tensai army, was that the one? Fire Initiate army. It was It's a terrible card that never saw play because you have to play 3 spells in a conflict in order to blow up 1 attachment. No one played that because it was bad, and I don't think anyone's playing this because it's too slow. Because it's a body that you buy and you cannot include in a conflict if you want to use the ability, and the body is not impressive.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, it's after the fate phase begins, though.
Right.
So, you would actually use him in the conflict.
No.
It's after the end of the conflict. Oh, you were saying you wouldn't be able to use him in the conflict because then he would be
bowed.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I guess I'm just thinking that you have all them against the waves.
Yeah, you're not going to spend it against the waves to straighten him. You're going to spend it against the waves to straighten your honored Invoker Guard army or Tadaka or anything that's actually good.
I was going to say I could see this as conflict, and I don't know if that makes it too good.
I think as a conflict character, that would be totally reasonable.
Yeah.
I did try building a Dishonor deck around him, because I like the idea of recycling my Mark of Shames. But he was just too slow and too bad.
Yeah, I was also because with Mark of Shame and or the poison.
I mean, you can do it with the poisons as well. because you can just shuffle them back in and draw a card.
Yeah.
But
no, I can see it not being worth it.
It isn't. I tried. And you know me, I will try any stupid idea that comes into my head. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to go on about this guy. Looks like neither do you guys. So, on to Ethereal Alignment.
This pack is rough, guys. This pack is rough.
Yeah. Like, there's some bangers in here that we're about to get to. But for the most part, it's a lot of misses. Ethereal Alignment, a 5 fate event. When the conflict phase ends, choose a broken province that shares an element with a ring in your claimed ring pool. Restore that province, remove this card from the game. I wish this card saw more play, but I think costing 5 fate is kind of a death knell for it.
Problem is, if this saw play, then something is wrong. You know what I mean? Like, if this was prevalent, I would be worried.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the Phoenix Pacifist deck, running this as a one-of, just to even grind the game even further to a halt. Yeah. It's like, oh, congratulations, you spent so many resources breaking Korimori. Do it again. But now, it's also got 4 influence costs, so you'll only ever see this in Phoenix.
Yeah, because, I mean, the only other clan that can really reliably come up with 5 fate would be Scorpion.
Anyone can come up with 5 fate. Just buy your guys appropriately.
Reliably and, be able to, have that kind of management.
I mean,
that's not.
Crab's Economy would like to have a word with you.
Yeah, that's the...
Yeah. But yeah, this card it'll look pretty in your binder.
So many pretty binder cards.
There's a lot of pretty binder cards. A card that Phoenix is running is Retire to the Brotherhood. After this province is revealed, each player discards each character they control with no fate, reveals cards from the top of their dynasty deck until an equal number of characters are revealed, and puts those characters into play and shuffle. This card...
Why they haven't said that this can't be on Stronghold?
Well, because it only works once.
No, I know, but I'm just...
So that's why. And also, this is going to be on Phoenix's box. So the turn you go on Phoenix's box, you just put a little coin on each guy you buy and watch that box be blank.
Yeah, I was terrified of this thing.
Yeah,
running my swarm deck, it was very scary.
Yeah, I mean, that's also because of the sequence for it. It's after the attackers are declared is when the province flips face up. So they are... the person who's attacking can no longer assign new people. So if they don't have anyone with fate that's attacking, their attack is basically nullified.
I had a fun time with Border Fortress in this, though. That was all right. Just revealing it. I knew it was going to be under the box, so I was just like, oh, I'll pick the right time for that.
Let's do it now.
I do think this card is going to become much better. Not that it's already not a good card, but it's going to become much better once we get to the next cycle of Dire. Because those bodies are coming into play without fate. And so, depending what the Dire abilities are, some of them going to be good. Any other comments on this one? This is a solid card. You're going to see it.
Oh, yeah. Solid card. Definitely is going to go on their box. It, definitely, you got to be aware of it. It's a thing.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a thing since Korimori can't be on the box.
Yes, and that's a good thing. Now we're into
as the Lion and Unicorn player will attest. Yes, we agree.
We agree.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. Scorpion doesn't fate people very often, so this also made problems. Other than that, with Stoke Insurrection, it's easily mitigated problem.
Your guys.
It's like, oh man, bunch of your assholes retired to a brotherhood and they're pissed.
I'm gonna have my own separate timer going over here and just see how long we go between talking about Stoke. Every single time.
I mean,
but with Stoke though.
When we actually get to that pack, like we're gonna have talked out Stoke, and we'll just be like, yeah, it's a bullshit card.
Listen to previous reviews. We've already discussed this. Sorry.
Okay, so Scorpion cards. 4 fate cost, 4 military, 2 political. 0 glory Bushi is Thunder Guard Elite. They have Pride, and as an action during a conflict in which this character is participating, lose 1 honor. Your opponent discards 1 random card from their hand. This is a great card for Scorpion, except for Betrayed. And that's almost entirely the reason he doesn't see play. Well, I say that 4 fate is kind of a weird fate cost where his ability is not blowout enough to warrant spending 4 fate on.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that you said that he was that the only issue was the
Bushi.
Yeah, I kind of felt like
that's me talking out my ass. I say things without thinking. It's fine.
Okay, because I was like,
I kind of agree with him though. Like when this thing came out, I thought it was going to see a lot more play because being able to just trigger an Earth Ring in the middle of a conflict is not nothing.
It isn't. And the fact that he has Pride means in Scorpion chat we were ragging on this card a little bit, and so Tyler popped in and made some comments, the most pertinent of which was that he works really well with Kyobu, which is when it's a unique courtier that when your opponent discards a card, they have to dishonor someone. So that's a nice party trick. The other party trick is you throw him into a conflict politically, and winner if he loses, great, he's dishonored. You can stand him in Kyuden Bayushi and then just go military.
Yeah.
But I think on a more serious evaluation, his ability just doesn't do enough for 4 fate.
Yeah, you have better 4 fate bodies for sure, or just better.
I don't know that we do actually. Now I'm curious.
I'm thinking your commander. You've got Banjo.
Yeah, but those don't see. What the fuck are the filters?
Aramaro. Yeah.
These are our 4 faters, right? Yunako saw play for a hot minute in the commander deck. Yeah, but you never pay for her, and that's why she sees play.
Yeah.
Because she's disguised.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about how weird your 4 slot is.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of guys in there.
No. Hiroe was good back in the day, which makes me sad because I've got 3 different fucking promo versions of him. Disguise Protector is trash. Illustrious Plagiarist is now dead because of a rules change. Yeah. Hametsu's time may come. We just need a really busted poison card, but I'm not holding my breath. So yeah, the Scorpion 4-drop is. This is one of the reasons why we can generate so much fate. Is because these are the 5-drops. Most of them don't get run except Kachiko now. And prior to that, none of these guys got ran consistently, so our curve capped out at 3.
Shoju 2 did.
Yeah, which Shoju 2 had a little bit of a glory
until he got RL'd.
Until he got RL'd alongside Duty and City, so...
Yeah.
Congratulations, he got soft banned.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, I think, one of the reasons why Scorpion's Fate economy is so good is because we only play our cheap characters, and we don't fate them, so it's it feeds on itself. Back to a topic at hand, though.
You gotta take off the 5.
Yeah. God, Bushi Filter's great.
Yay, filters.
Yeah, no, it's a neat card. I think if he was Shinobi, he'd see a lot more play.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Be able to drop him for free, and he comes into play dishonored.
Because he is everything you want in a Shinobi, but he's a Bushi.
Yeah.
I
thought you were going to say Courtier, but
oh fuck no! Like that ability doesn't belong in a Courtier. I mean, the ability does, the stats don't. But you could make a case for those stats being on a Shinobi.
Yeah. Okay.
Dispatch to Nowhere. When you absolutely want to promote someone to a gulag. It is a 1 fate Scorpion Dynasty event. Action: choose a character with no fate, discard it.
Oh god. This thing.
It's busted. It's not busted. It just generates so much value if it shows up at the right time.
Oh yeah.
It's only going to get better with Dire.
And, because people
Maho
will be.
effects.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Maho effects less so because if they're.
Because it's got to be during Dynasty.
Yeah.
True.
Unless they make some Maho events that are pertinent in Dynasty phase, maybe not. But yeah, no, I
don't see that happening.
I've shot towers with a bunch of attachments before.
I bet.
It feels really good.
I bet it does. Especially when you're first, and you're like, and you had him sitting in your dynasty to be able to gain him a fate. Oh, but he got sent to the.
Oh yeah, no. Usually, like this is also a great bait card.
Oh yeah.
If you're lucky enough to get it to flip up on like a truly hateful province, which is easy for Scorpion because the row is pretty hateful. But that turns your opponent's characters into heat-seeking missiles for this card because it's got to go away.
Yeah, I mean, your opponent has to play around it when they see it. Yeah. They have to completely change how they fate things. Like,
oh yeah, it's nasty.
Yep.
I mean, it's not broken. It's definitely fair, and it's within the Scorpion milieu. So
yeah,
I just don't like it. I just don't like sitting across from it.
That's fair. I think it could probably do with maybe tacking on an honor cost, just to make it a bit more balanced. But
I don't know. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I hate to say this, but I don't feel that it's unbalanced. I don't feel that it's overly powerful. I feel that it's powerful, and it does exactly what Scorpion wants you to do. And it is you're playing my game.
Yeah.
You have to play around this. You have to acknowledge and know that this is in there, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And that's like I said, that's the Scorpion game, and it's not fun to play against, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
We have this fun game in Unicorn chat, which is called Why Not Unicorn, and I think we're like, when this card got shown, we're like, it says dispatch in the name.
It should be Unicorn.
It should be Unicorn. Why not Unicorn?
Because Unicorn dispatch their own guys. They don't dispatch other people's guys.
Yeah, I think there might be an implication in dispatch that you're not applying.
Oh, there's something I'm not seeing?
Yeah. When Unicorn dispatches someone, they get sent somewhere. When a Scorpion dispatches someone, they
send somebody else
there. They go nowhere.
They send them to the Rainbow Stables where everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Filled with puppies.
Dispatch them to that farm upstate.
Yeah.
Where your parents took your dog.
This pack, Scorpion also got a 2-fate Earth Roll event. Suffer the consequences. During the conflict phase, sacrifice a bowed, friendly Bushi, Courtier, or Shugenja character. You may declare one additional political conflict this phase, max 1 per phase.
Does this see play?
It did in the commander deck that Scorpion had, because it was also running In Service to My Lord.
Oh, yeah.
And so, And this was before, Best Boy Liar died to the banned list. You could, straighten Yunaka with In Service to My Lord, and then the liar suffered the consequences, and you got a card.
And then Yunako could come down and like beat on things again.
Yep. It did see play. It doesn't now. I did try making a lion deck with this card alongside Stoke Insurrection.
You are an evil man, Carl.
Because it also kind of runs on the same principle of you get bowed bodies for basically free with Stoke Insurrection. If one of them happens to be unique, the Akoma Reservist in my hand will, In Service to My Lord, the unique character I stole from you, and then I'll play Suffer the Consequences and get an extra attack.
I did playing that. That sounds super fun. What's wrong?
So when I come up with these ideas, I tend to throw them in the deck and play them a couple times and then abandon them. The deck could probably use some polish, and it would work well, because it also ran Toturi and Suko and Shori.
Oh my gosh, you're like, I have all the all the conflicts.
I could have 4 conflicts in one turn, and its RL card was well, I built the deck before the RL came out, but it was also running Sonuri 2 and Lion's New Box.
Hyakka no Shiro?
Yeah, Hyakka no Shiro. So I always had a body to either attack with, or straighten someone else with, or sacrifice, or do all these things. The deck could probably use some refinement, and it would be like a fun deck. I can send it to you guys if you want. It's entertaining.
If I play other things besides Unicorn, then I'm not going back to Unicorn. That's the problem. These cards are play. Oh man, okay. Man.
These cards do things. They don't just win more. But yeah, I don't think if you're worried about seeing this card, you probably won't. Just because the meta has moved on.
Which is a shame. I liked Scorpion. I preferred the Scorpion Beatdown over the Scorpion Dishonor Control.
Now I am going to take a soundbite out of this where you just said I like Scorpion, and send it to Scott.
Can you just assign that to a button I can just press whenever I want?
Yeah, just I like Scorpion.
I like Scorpion. I like Scorpion.
Hang on, let me write down the time code for this so I can find it.
We got him, folks. We got him.
We got him, boys. So Scorpion also got a new box. It is 7 Stings Keep, +2 Strength, 10 Glory, Jesus, it's getting late, 10 Honor, 7 Fate, 10 Influence. I can say the numbers right. Interrupt, when you declare a conflict, choose a number greater than 0 and bow this stronghold. Your opponent declares defenders for this conflict, then declare conflicts. Choosing attackers, ring, conflict type, and province, you must declare the number of attackers equal to the number you chose. Pardon me.
What happened to this?
Fell off the face of the earth.
City of the Open Hand exists.
But it's on the RL. I mean, in almost all of the Scorpion decks that I've run against are running KD.
Because they want to run Forged Edict.
Well, no, I know, but I'm saying, like, why is KD so much better than 7 Stings Keep?
Because Forged Edict exists, and it's the most powerful cancel in the game that also turns on the Stronghold. So this right now, city decks and because of the RL changes, Kyuden Bayushi decks have become fairly powerful as well. So I think that is holding back, quote unquote, R&D onto this box, because we already have 2 strong choices for decks. So there's no incentive to go make a third.
So because I remember when this first came out, and like everybody in Scorpion was running it, and like yay, old school cav, old 5R cavalry.
Yeah.
And but then it didn't. I mean, and I remembered like all of the provinces that this would screw over.
So basically, this was getting run with all out assault.
Yeah, I remember that.
So because all out assault says you have to declare all of your characters as attacker. 7 Stings Keep sets a hard limit on how many you can attack, so it overrides the all-out assault. So if your first player, you attack with however many you want, and then you have a free swing back because your opponent doesn't have any defenders. Like it's what I would call like a stupid human trick deck. To date myself for a reference, like it does neat things, but like neat things don't win you games.
I mean, it's the design space of having to go up against the most powerful stronghold in the game.
Yeah.
And how do you build around that? Not even necessarily above that, but how do you build adjacent to that to where it is still something that is desirable to play?
The other thing, like we just on that brief tangent, Scorpion doesn't really have a whole lot of really powerful dynasty characters since most of our characters cap out at 3 fate cost. From what we've seen, besides Kachiko. But if you're running 7 Stings Keep, you're probably going to run Shoju 1 instead because he can kill whoever's done enough to get in the way. So Scorpion doesn't have a prolific conquest deck that doesn't rely on the Kyuden Bayushi stand effect.
I mean, I'm glad that KB has come in on its own. Like,
sure, it's nice to see some variety, but I think KB is going to go away as soon as the next RL comes out and Stoke Insurrection is on there. So go ahead and reset your timer. Because we brought up Stoke again.
I think it was 17.
We've gone 5 minutes without mentioning Stoke.
Yeah.
17 minutes, I think.
Yeah. No, like that's like KB is succeeding a lot because of Stoke. Because the dumb thing about, one of the many dumb things about Stoke is if you're not playing Scorpion Mirror Match, your Way of the Scorpions turn into Unbows. Because in the conflict that I've stolen the guy, I'll just dishonor him and use him again. Onto unicorn cards. I like 7 Stings Keep. It's fun, but if you're playing competitively, there are better choices. If you're playing for fun, then
all out assault.
By all means, play this and all out assault and all the stupid movement cards. But on to Unicorn. We have a 3 Fate, 3 mil, 1 Paul Bushi Cavalry Scout with 1 Glory. It is Twilight Rider. It has Rally. And after this character moves to a conflict, choose a character and ready that character. Now, I have played exactly none of these cards, so I'm going to shut up.
In terms of our rally cards, this is not horrible, as long as you don't compare it to other clans, like we've said. But it's got relevant. Anytime you're looking at a unicorn card, the first thing you do is look at does it have Cav? Does it have Bushi? Yes, it ticks those boxes. Is its glory too crazy? No. Being able to move to a conflict and ready is obviously useful, but this card on it, this is a GPO card. You have to have something to trigger that effect. I have to have something that lets me move in with another card that makes it worthwhile. And I mean, yeah, you can, there are people who can move in who are bowed, and then you ready them with this guy, and then you suddenly turn on more mill or whatever. But outside of GPO,
is that prevalent in unicorn cards where they don't do something on their own? They need a second card to actually use their ability. Because you're right, this card does nothing if you don't have either GPO or a movement effect in hand or on table.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said last pack, Unicorn has to jump through 2 more hoops than everybody else. That's just whether that's being understated because they're Cav, or it has to be non-unique or more participating, or all of these extra triggers that you have to have. So yeah, I mean, we've gotten more movement, but when we have stuff like dispatch that costs a fate, is that do I want to put that card in my deck?
Jeez, no, you don't.
It costs a fate. It costs a space in my deck.
It's also limited,
it's
so
limited,
so
right?
It costs future cards as well.
To be able to do this, no, more than likely I'll stand or ready, using something else. Inside of GPO, playable. Outside of that, not so much.
Not so much.
And even in GPO, I mean, you're gonna want to. I mean, I don't know if I'm wrong that the GPO deck is still the tower deck, where you're going to try to move somebody in and have that fan's command to be able to unbow them after you're moving in the big tower, and you're not going to bother towering this Yahoo.
Right.
Well,
I mean, you're going to want to tower Tetsuko. You want to tower.
The one thing I will point out for this guy, he doesn't have to ready himself.
Yeah, he can ready anybody.
He can ready any character when he moves into the conflict.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you probably don't. You're right. You probably don't tower him, but you can still use him as an unbow. But see, that ability, you'd probably want it more out of HMT, because then you have an extra body for the next conflict.
I mean, that's kind of the thing about this cycle. I mean, I know we're only on pack 2, but it's you see a lot of clans get a widening of their themes.
Mm-hmm.
And for Unicorn, it seems more and more prevalent that it's just laser pointed down to HMT. If it doesn't fit, it's not going to get played. They've tried to give us some more couriers, things like that, but it's just not there. This, and also I will say this card is this is a card that should have rally.
Yes.
This is the appropriate power level for a rally card.
Because this is a card where if you want to run it for its fullest effect, you have to build around it.
Right.
And rally entices you to do that. On to Never Yield. Just looking at these unicorn cards, I don't imagine there's a whole lot to say about them besides.
Not positively, no.
Besides sad pants. Never Yield. It is a 0 fate, 4 influence cost unicorn philosophy. After you declare an attack, until the end of the conflict, each character you control cannot be bowed or moved home by opponent's card effects.
Yeah, I mean, this card is a one-of in most decks. You'll see it in a lot of Unicorn decks. It's a one-of tops.
Did this address any problems that Unicorn was having?
No, it's just kind of a safety valve.
Okay.
When you're on box, then you just want to make sure. Because it's on attack declaration, so when the effect goes off, it's good.
Yeah.
It's not retroactive, so if I play a conflict character into it, it's not going to have the protection. But for the most part, it's decent. I mean, when this thing got shown, we saw it. It was hey, wow, this doesn't cost a fate. That's weird.
Was this the Mad Art at Worlds?
Yeah, and for that I love it for sure. That is my absolute favorite mat that I own.
I'm kind of surprised that this doesn't. But it's only thrown in as a one-of. Is it just that you don't have a lot of bowing? You don't get a lot of send home that you guys have to worry about? Is Unicorn only ever losing because they've been outforced?
There's enough that you want it just in case, but you have to use so much to win those conflicts and go all in, whether that's, it's protection, but maybe 2. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I definitely wouldn't run this as a 3 of, because you're not going to play it every conflict.
You save this for the box.
Yeah.
Like,
or, like, I guess maybe as a 2 of, it's better, because it does protect you against shit like For Shame or courteous greeting. But even then,
I mean, as we see more battle effects and move home effects, it gets better. Like, it's a card that's just going to increase in value for sure. And there may be a tipping point where, yeah, we need 2 of this because it's just so prevalent that I just want to protect my attacks. But as it stands right now, I think, there's enough ready you can do with a few different things to where it's just a nice safety valve.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've noticed that there hasn't been a whole lot of sent home.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the one that came out was also a unicorn card, Way of the Open Hand.
Yeah. And Way of the Open Hand is almost going to be, well, it's not comparable to this, but I do like Way of the Open Hand just for the future cycle for turning off Dire.
Yeah.
And Send Home. Like, that I think it's going to see a lot more play.
Yep. Onto a card that I think, this suffers from like the same thing you mentioned for Twilight Rider. Moto Stables, +2 province strength holding. Reaction: after a character you control moves to a conflict, it gets +2 military until the end of the conflict. Limit twice per round.
But only twice. Only twice.
Only twice.
We can't have you doing it 3 times.
No.
Same thing. We look at stuff like War Camp.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, why would I run this when I can run War Camp?
Right.
Well, War Camp is going to cost you a fate, and it's in the conflict. While this is, a dynasty hold.
Yeah, but sure, but it's every
being in the conflict is actually a plus, because even with all the rally, conflict decks are much more consistent, and you can control when it turns on. If this flips when you don't have movement effects, you feel like a dumbass.
Yeah,
but if you draw makeshift War Camp, you're like, okay, well, now it's best for me to get the +12 force off my 6 guys attacking. So sure, I'll do it now.
Yeah, and I think that the idea of a GPO / a lot of conflict movement. Moto Stables is obviously with Twilight Rider. They're intended to be a kind of a combo-rific type thing.
Yeah, but
it's a power level issue, right? Like, if you had taken this and it also said move a character into a conflict, it gets +2 military until the end of the conflict. That's playable.
That's much better.
That would be really good.
Because it goes back to what Jeremy was saying. Like, this card does nothing unless you have another card to turn it on.
Yep.
You could have both Twilight Rider and this in play, and you would need a third card to do anything with either of them.
To give +2 force. Or I could just...
And stand a person.
Yeah. Nothing else.
Yeah. On to Wind's Path. Unicorn's Eminent Province. It is 5 province strength, which makes it one of the beefier ones. During conflicts, you may play each character in this province as if it were in your hand. Each character played this way must enter play in the conflict. So this has almost the exact same text as Hidden Moon Dojo. Why isn't this playable?
I think it's missing a couple critical things.
With Hidden Moon Dojo, it was a neighboring, not just what was in Justice Province.
Sure, but...
And it also gave reduction.
No, it didn't.
Oh, no, it didn't. I'm thinking of the... Never mind.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Uji. You're thinking of original Uji.
I'm thinking of original Uji, yeah.
Yeah. No, it only felt like it gave a cost reduction because when it was face up, Scorpion always passed in Dynasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this, like, even with the hyper consistency of Rally, I guess if you wanted to be really dumb with it, you could run Wealth of the Crane.
Yeah, if I wanted to be...
You want to be, as you said, if you want to be dumb.
Yeah.
He did preface it.
I did preface it. No, there's nothing to say about this one. Like, it requires a level of dynasty manipulation that Unicorn doesn't have. I don't think anyone has enough to make it. I guess Crane does now. But the ability to put cards on there when you want them is what you need for this to be playable.
Logistics! As he said at the beginning when we were going over logistics.
Yeah,
logistics, put it in there.
Logistics was like the only thing I could think of to try. And I tried it and I was like, I'll just leave my Tetsuko here and just wait and then throw it in a conflict. And the problem is my opponent can also see that Wind's Path is showing.
Yeah.
So there's no surprise there.
Yeah.
You have to, an Imminent Province has to do something worthwhile because you're giving away the information by it being shown immediately. And this ain't it.
I feel like every time we do one of these, Unicorn is going to be the petering out, trailing out of, well, goddamn it, it's just blah.
I mean, the only thing I have...
We're going to change the order that we go over these cards instead of going over them in clan alphabetical order. We're going to we'll go over the dragon cards, and we'll go over the unicorn cards, and then we'll go over the good cards. Like, we can pick an order.
Because it just sucks, because it feels like, and I don't say this to, be belittling or anything, but even last week, I think we just kind of ended on a...
Yeah, it was a wet fart. I mean, there's nothing there, man.
Hang on, let me... Okay, get that canceled out. Just out of curiosity, what did we end on last?
It was like...
Nova Terrain.
Yeah, we ended on Scouted Terrain, which is not It's a new deck type. But
it is.
That's what I mean. Like, the widening of themes... Every clan should have a widening of theme or sub-theme every expansion and add and make, new nuance and new ways to win. And, for Unicorn, it's just HMT.
I tell you what, when I have motivation, so good luck. I'll see if I can throw together an at least enjoyable Shiro Shinjo deck for you.
They're out there. I mean, it's not that it doesn't exist. It's just you need consistency. You need your the Unicorn high roll is always a threat. Like, that's a thing. But in terms of being able to consistently pull off your game plan, we are a one-trick pony, pun intended. But it's just that's what we are.
You should get better ponies.
Yeah, love some. It's just where we're at. I mean, the only thing we can point at is that we're not Dragon right now. That's what we have.
Dragon has taken one for a team, and
God bless them.
I don't have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun Dragon.
Yeah. Hopefully they do better next cycle. I think we'll just wrap it up here on the sad wet fart that is the Unicorn cards this pack. I don't know what a happy wet fart would be, but
can I take a little peek at next pack and see if there's anything?
If it's going to be more of a sad pants ending, we may need to revisit the order we do these in.
Yeah, Scholar of Old Rampant!
Hunting Falcon seeing play.
Hunting Falcon, Hunting Falcon seems play. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not the Scholar though.
No. But it's Rally.
Again, well, see, this is not to cut into next week, but this is the problem with, this is an appropriate card for Rally, right? It's just this is fucking terrible in comparison to all the other amazing Rally cards, like Sonuri, like Butcher.
I'm good to go now, man. Count the hoops.
No.
Count the hoops. How many hoops? How many hoops do you see with this card?
Lose an honor, non-unique, and it's immune to events, which is pointless because if I see this card, I'll just kill that character before you can take an action with it. A hoop you don't see is the tempo hoop.
Yeah, and it's your own events also. Don't forget that. It turns off your own events.
And don't forget, it's not cavalry. So
I mean,
it's not cavalry and it's not Bushi.
I'm not ending on this negativity. I want to go out with positivity. Lewis, how have you enjoyed this cycle? Because like
you are probably one of the clearer winners of the cycle.
Yeah, Lion is one of the clear winners for this cycle. Like as you were seeing cards come out, were you just like, oh wow, and then oh wow?
Yeah, legitimately. I've liked a lot of the cards, a lot of the Lion cards that they've come out with in this set. The Battlefield subset, that Battlefield theme I've really enjoyed, and I've liked what it's done for us. I like the it gives the Chronicler of Conquest with the Prepared Ambush, with the just things that have helped out the Lion Honor deck, combined with the Lion the Little Tower Hyaka no Shiro military deck, the mid-range Dragon Splash deck that's able to win with almost all three win conditions. Got and then there are people that are already talking about like a Red Lion that runs with Stoke and Way with Words.
I made a hard Dishonor deck out of Lion because I like playing cool. 6 backhanded compliments in a turn.
Hey, during I've got an exposed courtyard, and I'm gonna backhand, and I'm gonna backhand you, and then I'm gonna discard the top two cards, and hey, look, oh, here's another backhand, and it goes on the bottom of my deck, and then oh, look, I'm gonna use my Master Tactician. Oh, look, there's another backhand. It's there is so much, just so much recursion, so much. It opens up Lion a lot. It's really weird though that with as much as Lion is opened up with packs 5 and 6 coming out, like the Lion win rate in Clan War is just garbage.
Well, they haven't done the resubmit for pack 6 yet, have they?
No, that's going to be due on the 14th, and I still have to come up with what the H am I going to do for that.
Run a version of this deck. I just sent it to you. It's the Stoke Insurrection Suffer the Consequences.
I'm not running.
It's not a Dishonor deck.
I know. I see that. It's Stoke. I don't see the.
I think I took
the consequences. I see the 2 Miyakos.
I think I took that out for this version of it. I think I cut the Stokes.
Where's the Why don't you have logistics?
Because, like I said, this was a fucking throw together deck.
Oh, okay. Just because logistics helps to set up Stoke for being cheaper.
No, it doesn't. Because it
does.
It moves the card in the same state.
Yeah, but then when the card is moved, it's replaced with a face down card.
Yeah, but there's still a face up card.
I only have to have 4 face down.
Oh, is it only 4 face down cards? I haven't actually read the card.
Face down. Yeah, you can logistic so if you've only got 1 face down card, I logistics it over. You have 4 face down cards now with 1 face up card.
Okay.
And now my Stoke only costs 2.
You're right. I never actually read the card because I play Scorpion, so I just play Governor Spy, and every card's face down.
It's always 2. What do you mean? Yeah. What do you mean it costs 4? Some people have to pay 4 for this? That's ridiculous.
All right, guys. Well, it's almost midnight. Thank you for joining me on this. Hope you guys had fun talking about this stuff.
Thanks for having me. Good seeing you guys.
Yeah, it's always good seeing you guys.
And we'll do pack 3 soonish and see where that takes us.
I have a feeling I know.
Right.
We did get a little preview.
All right, guys. Take care.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.